Hi guys. You know what I'm gonna say, long time no talk, right? So your girl has had lots of trauma in 2025. Needless to say, we are back. I fortunately and unfortunately have a little bit of extra time right now because I left my job in July. But yeah, a lot of traumatic things have happened. I took an international flight. We've been kind of cooking and all over the place. But without further ado, we are back. I apologize for my cat's little booty hole in the corner there. But that is not the topic of today's video. The topic of today's video is to talk about one of my favorite series that I have read over the last few months. It is very popular, you know it, you probably already love it. And that is the Fourth Wing series. Yes, by Miss Rebecca Yarrow. Now, let me just preface this by saying, I have owned this copy of Fourth Wing since it came out. I remember when it first debuted, and I'd heard like rumblings of people talking about, oh, it's a Dragon Academy and everything. And fantasy is like my home, my happy place. Love fantasy. It is where I thrive. I didn't start getting into contemporary romance or anything until much, much later in my reading journey. Therefore, this series right here was amazing, but I didn't read it for a while. At the time, my mom was really sick, and I wasn't really reading. My mental health was really bad. I was in a toxic relationship. There's a lot of shit going on, basically. But now, this year, I am happy to report that I started reading it. And that is all thanks to and in support of one of my besties, Maya. She had started reading or listening to the audiobooks and was like, hey, you love books, like why haven't you read like Fourth Wing? And I was like, oh, I have had it, I just haven't read it. She's like, you should start because I need someone to talk about it with. So therefore, say thank you to Maya, because of her, we read the series. But let's get into my thoughts and opinions on it and what I am expecting for the next book. Before I get into all that though, I do want to preface this by saying I am going to be talking about spoilers. So if that is something you do not want to know and you still have not read this series, like me, I was late to the game, please sign off now, and I'll give you like 10 seconds to do it. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you'd like me to do it in Korean, I can as well. Yes, I'm also learning Korean. I don't know if I've talked about that in this channel, but that's not the topic of today's video. As you can tell, I'm a yapper. We're gonna get into it though. All right, so let's start off with the first one. So obviously we have Violet's first year at the academy, and her meeting Xaden. I would just like to say and thank Rebecca Yarrow for making Xaden a male book character that I actually enjoy. Now let me preface that by saying that I don't think that there is a lot of like bad ones or anything like that. I'm not saying that at all. I do, however, feel like we have become very shadow daddy heavy, if you will, in the fantasy and romantasy genres. Not that there's anything wrong with it. I love a moody, broody, like that's my type of guy. I love that. I like that kind of character, the anti-hero. I mean, Spider-Man is literally one of my favorite heroes, for goodness sakes. But I just I love him. Your Honor, I love him. But no, I really do. I think he was very well written. I love the way that their dynamic plays out, especially in the first one. Obviously, this is just their instances of them meeting each other and then finding out that they're tied to one another. I love the twists and turns with her getting the dragons and having two. That was absolutely just, I love it. I loved Andarna's, her playful littleness in this. I actually have, it's not with me, on my Kindle I have a sticker of Violet hugging it. It's from those little Fourth Wing sticker packs that literally every bookstore I think sells now. But I loved it. I gave the first one 5 stars. This is one of those copies I was able, since I pre-ordered the book when it, when I had heard about it back when it had first debuted, I pre-ordered this because I thought the spine was pretty sick, whatever, and I got a copy of it. So I love this, I cherish this. I remember when these were going for like, I don't even know what crazy amounts they were charging at the time because people could not get their hands on these sprayed edges and were going absolutely feral. But I gave the first book a 5. I did read a lot of these. I read these mostly on my Kindle just because I wanted to be able to take it back and forth to my boyfriend's house. And I was doing a lot of other things at the time. So that helped a lot. But I love like the gauntlet. I love them going through the different trials and tribulations. I love her dynamic with Mira. I love the way that the story is just written. I was fully like attached, hook, line, and sinker from the get-go. You couldn't pry this book out of my hands. If there was a break, I was reading this book. Just saying. Fast forward to the second one. I do believe that this is the one that was, I don't want to say least popular, but it wasn't as popular as the first one. A lot of people thought Iron Flame was boring. I don't really know why. I guess maybe because like the action wasn't as, I don't know. I still really liked it. I liked the discovery of the fact that Brennan is alive. I thought that that was amazing, and the fact that Xaden literally has to help cure her, and the best healer he could think of is obviously Brennan, who he's been working with behind the scenes for a while now, and who Violet doesn't know. And I like the course of the relationship, and the fact that a lot of people complain that miscommunication is something that really drives them nuts between the dynamic of Xaden and Violet. I personally don't mind that, because as a person that in past relationships has seen that and has struggled with partners that have struggled with that communication, I don't think it's an unrealistic trope. And everybody's like, well, if they would just talk to each other. But what you have to understand is the fact that there's a lot of obviously trauma and secrets, and she doesn't feel like she can fully trust him. And I think that some people get that confused with, well, like if you just talked it out. Sometimes it's very hard to talk things out. Like, let's kind of discuss the instance with her mother, right? Obviously her mother sacrifices herself so that they can, obviously, Iron Flame. That's why her mother sacrifices herself, to be able for them to have it to protect the wards. I genuinely think that as someone who has lost both her parents, sometimes it is very difficult to talk about those things. And I also want to commend Rebecca Yarrow on writing grief, and when it comes up suddenly. I don't think it's like touched upon obviously in here, but there's other elements going through it. But I do want to say that as someone that is going through it, is still going through it, it's written in a way that I very much appreciate. It's not overly zealous or over the top. I feel like a lot of times books and movies, I don't want to say glamorize, but they kind of make it as like, oh, you cry here, or you do this, or you're kind of one way or another. And she doesn't do that. Grief is written into the lines of her characters. It's etched on their faces. It's felt. When they cry, I cry. I scream and I cry. I don't scream, but you get the metaphorically. But I really love that about this book. I really loved Iron Flame. I liked the down times. I really liked it. I thought it was really well written. But yeah, I loved it. And then what I also wanted to talk about is all of the secrets that are kind of unveiled about Andarna. Loved that. I mean, first of all, I love a little Pookie golden dragon. Obviously she's not golden anymore, but I love that. I love the father figureness of Taryn. I love that with them. I love Taryn's personality. I mean, like, I love all of them, but like, especially the dynamic between the two of them. And I also just think it's so cool that they can talk to the dragons that way, and then Violet talks to Xaden. Obviously, that is nothing new. We've seen that in other series like ACOTAR, where the characters are able to speak and communicate with each other. I just personally like the way that it was done, because I feel like that has become something that has also been very, I don't want to say over-tropified, but kind of over-tropified, if I'm being bluntly honest, with a lot of the series that we see today. But I think it's very well done in Fourth Wing. It's not like too much to the point where I'm like, I'm literally going to bash my head into a wall because you guys aren't even having actual conversations. Before I get into talking about Onyx Storm and my thoughts for the next book, let me just talk to you about one of my favorite characters. Obviously, I love Violet and Xaden. They're without question. Rhi is amazing. Everybody in that book, I love, obviously, other than, you know, some certain individuals. But getting, like Jack, obviously that's, I'm referring to Jack, in case you guys weren't clued in. If you've read it, you know. But, sincerely, screw that dude. But regardless of that, my favorite side character is Riddick. I know that a lot of people really love him. Let me tell you something, this is gonna be a bold statement coming from me. I love him, I love him. I think I almost, if I were to put myself in the Fourth Wing universe and they were like, okay, this is your love interest, I would of course like to be like everybody else and say, oh, I'd go straight for Xaden. I don't think I would. I mean, maybe, I don't know, depends. But I honestly think Riddick. And if Riddick couldn't be my love interest, I would want him to be my best friend like he is with Violet, because I love him. He has the right interjections, he's amazing. I did not listen to the audiobooks, but I've heard clips of the voice actor that voices him. 10 out of 10, baby. Like, he is so funny, and I love his confidence and his bravado, and I love the scene where actually I think it's an Onyx Storm, I don't think it's an Iron Flame, when he is talking about his flight jacket getting torn up. Love that, love that. I also want to preface this by saying sometimes, not all the time, but like the whole Academy vibe, I don't know why, and like when they were talking about flight jackets, it just reminded me of Attack on Titan, because I'm also an anime girl, if you didn't know. But yeah, I was just thinking about that, and I was like, oh, it kind of reminds me of Attack on Titan. I can't even talk. Attack on Titan, God, guys. Erwin Smith and Levi and everybody. But yeah, I loved Iron Flame. I think I gave this though 4 stars, but I didn't write notes on it, so I cannot tell you, I apologize. Now, last but certainly not least, we have Onyx Storm. Onyx Storm obviously came out this year, so I was at least within the same year for this one. But I love this. I thought this was great. I cried. Literally, my boyfriend and I were going to, he had a fantasy party, and I was going just obviously for the snacks. I do like football, but I'm not like an avid watcher. And it was quite literally the scene where Indarna got separated from Violet, and I was crying in the car. And he was like, do you need a minute? Like, do you want me to take you back? Like, are you good? And I was like, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. I was not, in fact, fine. Let me just say that I was literally, I couldn't even eat. That is how emotionally distraught I was. I could not even eat because I missed her so much. To the point that I was like, I can't wait to get home. No offense to your friends, love your friends, babe, but like, I need to know what happens after this. I'm so excited to see what happens, since obviously Xaden and Violet are freaking married now. Like, hello? What are we doing with that? But yeah, I am so pumped for that. I cannot wait to read the next one and see where we go from here. I just, oh, it's so good. Every part of it is just amazing storytelling. Like, I listen, the best thing for me too is I regularly go and work out at the gym, and after I do weights, I usually do 45 minutes to an hour of cardio, whether that be the treadmill or the elliptical or some sort. Most of the time, I try to aim for like 5 days a week. But I read like a Kindle book on there, like on my phone, when I'm at the gym. And I was reading like all of Fourth Wing, the first, second, and third, like as I was doing that. That was what I was so locked in that I have like a little circuit thing that I do. I normally use timers anyway to make sure that I'm switching between my inclines. I, quite frankly, when the beeps would go off like on my watch and remind me, I was so zoned out and so not there. Like, if you were to look into my head, there was no thoughts going on other than what was in this book. I was immersed, fully like committed, thinking about it, crazy. Also, super happy that, I don't know where I was going with that. But I think it's so good. I have seen some negative reviews about it, like the series as a whole online, and I can't understand it, and I will never understand it, but that's not for me to decide. But I really liked it. I think it's a fantastic series. I have always loved dragons. My dad loved dragons. So in a way, I feel like I get to be close to my parents in this way because they were both avid fantasy lovers as well. So that's nice for me. And I'm so sad that I didn't really read it until after my dad passed, because he would have loved to have heard about this or even listened to the audiobook of it, I think. But yeah, I really like it. I think it's such a good story. I love Violet and how strong she is and that she recites historical facts. I love the fact that there's beauty in the fact of being, not that there isn't beauty in the fact of being the smart girl, but I think I like the fact that we see both sides of it. I like the fragility of her in just a lot of things, but how she overcomes things and talks herself through them, and the nightmares. And then can we talk about her, the whole dream walk, I think? Can we talk about that? Because I almost forgot to mention that. That is creepy, but also cool as heck. There's another series that I used to read that they did that in. I cannot think of it for the life of me. And I loved that element of it. So I like that Rebecca Yarros has incorporated that into her series. I'm very excited to see where it goes from here, obviously. I know we're gonna have to wait probably a little while before the book does get released. But yeah, I love this series. The Fourth Wing Empyrean series I love it. I think it's amazing. I like to talk to my boyfriend about it. He loves fantasy just as much as me. And so he loves hearing about the characters, even though he has no idea. He really wants to watch the TV show when it comes out, so that'll be cool. I'm also thinking about doing a Violet cosplay. If you guys don't follow her, Taya Miller is one of my favorite cosplayers like ever, and she did a homemade one for Violet with her boyfriend, and I would love to do that. So stay tuned for that. If you follow me on TikTok, I'll probably do it on there, and then maybe we'll do like a week in the life if I decide to do the whole scales and everything myself. We'll see. I haven't decided. I do have a little bit of extra free time, but I do have some other adulty responsibilities to attend to. But without further ado, this is the Fourth Wing series. I love it. My water bottle is decorated in the stickers. I have sent stickers to my friends. My friend Maya has little gibbets for her Crocs. So it's amazing. Like I love Fourth Wing, like through and through. It almost put me in a slump, like very much hardcore. I was able to get out of it by hopping right into other fantasy genres, which I will talk about in a September wrap up, because September has been the month of reading for me. So stay tuned for that, but I will let you guys get back to whatever it is you're doing. I hope you have a good day, a good night, a good morning, whatever time you're watching this video, and stay tuned for more on this channel. Bye guys.